Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to another Mega Stuff video where I talk about whatever happens to be on my mind. I promised you recently a more upbeat Irish stew video than the couple of the latest ones, to something that would put a little smile on your face as opposed to relentless grimness. And I think I can mostly deliver this time around. Pretty sure that I can, because even though the subjects might be a little bit on the serious side, we can take them lightly. Or we can find an angle that will allow us just to chat about something interesting. One of the things I like most about these Irish Stew videos is the conversations that are going on in my emails, where you people will write to me with disagreement, because thank God 99% of you know how to disagree and still stay friends. You'd think that would be a given, but no, in the 21st century that is not a given at all. And also, or just agreeing, which of course Steve prefers. We're going to start with the world. And the world, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and the world is looking at the possibility of the absolute profanation of the Nobel Peace Prize being given to Donald Trump. He wants it beyond anything. He wants it more than anything for one reason and one reason only, because a black man won it. But quite beyond any of those subjects, one subject in world news affects all of us book geeks, and that is that the Nobel Prize for Literature was announced. The Nobel Prize in Literature was awarded to Laszlo Krasznahorkai. And of course, Brock is happy. Dude bros all over the world are happy, because one of theirs has finally won this prize. Laszlo Krasznahorkai writes incomprehensibly bad books. Big, dense, stupid, paragraph-free, quotation mark-free, punctuation mark-free, woman-free books that are blocks of dude bro testimony. His books are incomprehensibly bad. Just incomprehensibly bad. But that doesn't matter to dude bro, because they're not reading them for literature. They're reading them for the fact that Laszlo Krasznahorkai has, in the entire course of his life, never had anything at all to do with any woman, which raises all sorts of questions as to how he actually was born, because that usually has something to do with a woman. But in his case, I'd be willing to bet not. It's the look, it's the tone of his crappy blocks of cement books that is going to be a cause for celebration in the ranks of dude bros. I can take my defeats and roll with them as well as the best of them. Brock is happy and Steve is not happy because a dude bro author won the Nobel Prize. In mitigation of my own unhappiness, I want to say two things that will put a kind of positive spin on it. Number one, the Nobel Prize doesn't mean anything because they gave it to Dylan. They gave it to Bob Dylan. So it is meaningless. And it's not just that it's meaningless since then. It's retroactively meaningless as well. That was such an astonishingly, unbelievably horrible decision that it invalidates the Nobel Prize retroactively to the beginning of time. That's, ameliorating fact number one. And ameliorating fact number two is that although Laszlo Krasznahorkai is talentless, and although he's a dude bro author, so he's deeply misogynistic, he thinks that narrative fiction needed him to save it, and that it is useless, and it's useless to do it in any of the old traditional ways. He, like all of his dude bro readers, not only has never read Jane Austen, but could not read Jane Austen. He doesn't have the ability to read Jane Austen or George Eliot. All of that stuff is true. But his choosing is at least more serious than the choosings that the Nobel has done recently. The Nobel Prize committee has in recent years been absolutely addicted to the idea of causing outrage in the headlines. Whatever we can do to seem rad and unpredictable and LOL and whatnot, we will do. And Laszlo Krasznahorkai is not a pick like that. So, even though my side lost, even though dude bro blocks of cinder are now going to fly off bookstore shelves to dude bros that just like them because they're not about anything, they're about equipment. Even though that's true, it's possible that his selection nudges the Nobel Prize back to sanity. That would be great if that happened. So Those of you who have been asking me and who will ask me, I just saw the Nobel Prize in Literature was announced. What do you think of this guy? He's a complete waste of your time. He is a complete waste to read. The only reason that I can smile with my brotherly love for my dude bro minions is that they aren't reading him. So he's not actually wasting their time. So that is the world. And then for the U.S., well, there's plenty of stuff that I could talk about in the U.S. that would be grim. But instead, let's talk about something that Steve loves and that anybody, you're not going to feel personally aggrieved by, and that's the weather. There is an absolutely massive winter storm system bearing down on the middle of this country. It looks like it might stretch from border to border at its worst. Plunging temperatures and the potential for lots and lots of rain and even snow, starting up in the Pacific Northwest, but eventually blossoming throughout most of the country. I don't think that storm is coming to New England. I'm pretty sure that it's not. I'm pretty sure that it's going to expend its energy in the middle of the country. There is a storm. There will be the remnants of a hurricane making its way up the eastern seacoast. So I have a feeling that from Sunday until further notice, it's going to be pouring rain here. But this storm in the middle of the country, I wonder how many of you will be affected by it. It's going to add all sorts of headaches for local flooding. It's going to add all sorts of headaches for early frost. It's going to add all sorts of headaches for flight delays. Flights are already being delayed because the U.S. government is shut down. And again, I want to stress here, is not going to reopen. So those of you who are on furlough from the government or thinking, I'm just hoping we can save Christmas, the government is not going to reopen. In order for it to reopen, there would have to be an agreement made. And MAGA isn't in the room. They aren't interested in anything. They want capitulation and probably an apology. So the government, this is not, oh my God, it's day 6. Oh my God, it's day 7 of a government shutdown. No. Any more than this is day 6 or day 7 of creation. This government shutdown is not going to end. So flights are being delayed all over the country, and this storm, whatever it is going to add to that, I would imagine. So that's very interesting, and that's nice and negative free, right? I mean, you could be hurt by this weather just a bit, but I wonder what some of your regional forecasts are like. If you're in Duluth or Des Moines, what are they saying in your local weather forecast? That would be fascinating. I don't think we're going to be affected in New England. I think New England is actually going to be a bubble protected from most severe weather all winter long. That's what it looks like to me. In the long-range forecast, long-range data is notoriously unreliable, but that's what it looks like to me. It looks like Boston is going to be sunny and 70. Little dips from here and there, but sunny and 70 for the whole of the winter. I think we're going to have that kind of a winter. But so that's the U.S. And then we can move on to YouTube, broader YouTube. And the subject of broader YouTube is pretty grim, but we're not talking about the subject as so much as we are the fallout. Because this goes on from yesterday's video where I talked about the streamer Hassan Piker. Never has his eyes all the way open, treats his viewers like dirt, constantly has a dog in the background of all of his streams that never moves. A video clip surfaced recently of him shocking his dog, using a shock collar on his dog, who yelps in pain and does what he tells him. Because if you have an electric shock collar around your neck, you will do what the person who has the switch will tell you to do. It was a clip. It's visible. You can watch it. There's no doubt whatsoever in anybody's mind what they're actually seeing. And yesterday when I talked about that, I predicted that not only would Hassan Piker deny that that's what you saw, but he would deny it flat out. He would say, you didn't see that. You didn't see anything that would indicate that. It's not just that I didn't shock my dog. It's that you didn't see anything that even looked like that. You didn't. You didn't. I am simply telling you what your perception of reality is. I predicted that he would do that, and he did that. That's the YouTube part of this Irish Stew video, is that he did that and is doing that. What surprised me is how many of his adherents, some of whom have platforms of their own, did the same thing. Just immediately started saying, well, yeah, it's obviously he didn't shock his dog. Boy, it's terrible that lies spread like this. It's terrible what Ethan Klein is saying about this. Lance at the Surfs, perfect example. did a whole video about how, well, I'm no dog expert, but suddenly the internet was full of dog experts, and the scorn in his voice, the sarcasm in his voice, was meant to imply that there's no such thing as a dog expert. That if you were professing that you knew what you were looking at, well, you were obviously wrong, because there's no such thing as a dog expert. I am a dog expert. Plenty of you knew exactly what you were looking at. Everyone in the world knew exactly what they were looking at. This is exactly what I said would happen. This Trumpian response, where not only Hassan Piker, that I predicted. I didn't predict that Lance at the Surfs or any of his other adherents, his team members, his tribe members, would be so immediately willing to just blandly say, oh yeah, of course it wasn't that. Of course what I saw wasn't what I saw. So that has been the reaction. I'm not asking you to go and look at that clip again. It's pretty disturbing to watch. And it is also completely self-evident. It's completely self-evident what is happening in that video. So this is just the world we live in, where you see something that is completely self-evident, and immediately the people involved say, you did not see that. So I just thought I'd keep you up to date on that, since I don't know if you're following it on your own. And then for BookTube, then we move on to BookTube. And for BookTube, I have 2 videos that I want to just recommend to you. They are wonderful. Just wonderful. I'll leave links to both of them down below, and I just want you will watch them and you will love them. The first is Tristan and the Classics, who does a video about the teaching of classics in modern academia. And it's very, very good, as always. All of his videos are very good. They're always very thoughtful. And this is no exception, and it affects a lot of us, because some of you are in school, some of your kids will be going to school, and his thoughts on what literature is actually for. You might be a little alarmed by the state of the world that he's describing, but you'll be really happy for the way he describes what literature is actually for. What literature is actually for. You will really like that. I feel certain you will really like the video. And the other video that I just want you to watch it and enjoy it. It's Four Corners of the Page. He is Fantasy Tuber, and his videos are always wonderful. I absolutely love his channel. And he reads one book. He reads Malazan, Book of the Fallen, like most of them do. They read pretty much one book, maybe 10 books. They don't read anything more than that. They never will, unless they go out of this phase. They never have. And of course, there's an element of that I of course don't like. I don't like the fact that I can look at these 15 channels and know, or you're all different ages, you're all different walks of life, you're all different backgrounds and personal experiences, but none of you has ever read a work of history. None of you has ever read a classic from Greece or Rome. None of you has ever read a contemporary novel. You just don't do it. You just don't do it. Not just a little. You don't do it at all. You read the same 15 books. You 15 channels read the same 15 books. And high up on that list is Malazan, Book of the Fallen, all of the books and all of the satellite books by co-authors and substitute authors and whatnot. And I know that about Four Corners of the Page. Fortunately, he is fascinating to listen to when it comes to Malazan, Book of the Fallen. He just had a video on it. I think he was the guest on another person's channel where they just talked about Malazan, and it was amazing to listen to. I actually don't denigrate Malazan, Book of the Fallen. It's actually a good series. No series is good enough to be the only thing you read. No book in the world, no single book, no Bible, no anything is good enough to be the only thing you read. That is a misuse of your reading time. But Malazan, Book of the Fallen is still a really, really good series, and I knew that about him. So I knew that, he makes a new video, there's a likelihood that it will certainly be about one of those 15 books, but there's a likelihood that it will be about just that one series. The one thing I didn't know about Four Corners of the Page, it comes up often that he, despite being incredibly young, he is married with children. And the one thing I didn't know about him was what kind of a dad he is. I had my suspicions, but I wasn't sure. You don't see into most booktubers, you don't see into their personal lives like that. And he did a video just recently called Reading Malazan to My Preschooler. If you know Malazan, Book of the Fallen, of course, you don't want to do that, but that's what made it intriguing. And he is on camera with one of his kids. He's on camera talking with a kid about Malazan, Book of the Fallen, and it confirmed to me Now I know what kind of a dad he is. He's a great dad. And it is utterly charming. It is an utterly charming video. You're going to love it. Absolutely love it. So those are 2 BookTube videos that you're just going to love. I could go on and on. There are lots of videos like that. But I'm just going to leave links to those 2, and you can just enjoy them. And thank me later. And then we get to the me section of this Mega Stuff video. And the me section, well, there are 2 things. One is serious and one is not. We'll start with the non-serious one, which is, I'm putting it to you. I'm asking you an existential religious question. Is the 9th of October too early to start binging Halloween candy? Specifically, those orange sugar pumpkins? Is the 9th of October too early for those orange sugar pumpkins or for the chocolate bottom candy corn? Is it too early? Do I have to wait until the 20s of the month? That's the silly question. And then the serious question is, am I in any place, in any position, in any capability to have another dog? A vague idea has floated, not from one of you, actually from someone I know off of BookTube. A vague idea has started to coalesce way on the outskirts of my life about a dog who might need me, might need a home. And I have been thinking about that nonstop. Am I in any place to do that? My little dog would not object. For most of her life, she would have, but after 2025, she would not. She'd be curious, and she would be fine. So that's not the problem. The problem is all the rest of it. The walking, the caring for it, the whatnot. Since I'm closing in on 30, am I getting too old to just have a constant open door policy for all dogs in the world who need me? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't think that this coalescing possibility will actually coalesce. I don't think it will actually happen, but I'm wondering what on earth to do. I have never in my life contemplated the idea of saying no to such a... I can't imagine that I would. So I don't know. That's on my mind. But the main question is, when is it acceptable to start eating Halloween candy? And there you go. That is a hopefully more upbeat Irish stew video for the 9th of October. So I'll leave links to everything that's pertinent down below, and I'll wrap this up for now. But I'll be back. I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.